Chosen Vessels, what's the deal? It's your main man, Druuill, and I'm back at you again with another video. I need each and every vessel to hit that like button, hit that share button, and don't forget to subscribe. Shout out to the Galactic family, the GCVs, and of course, Drew Nation. Let's get right into it. They could care less what happens to you as long as you're out their hair and not in their face. You don't matter. Most people don't really feel about certain people like they claim to, and they will not care what happens to you. And as long as you're out of their face, they're okay with that. They don't mind the worst happening to you or leaving you out for dead or abandoning you. As long as you're out of their hair, they don't care. And that's why you have to care about numero uno. You have to always put yourself first and be there for yourself in a way to where nobody else can. You have to be there for you. There are people who will abandon you and leave you and act like you never even existed. As long as you're out of their face and as long as you're not in their face, you're not their problem. And they could care less. And that's a good thing, even though it could be looked at as a negative thing. That's not as negative as it sounds. To have someone who's not really there for you in the first place not be worried about you is a good thing. It's a great thing. They may think they're doing you some kind of harm by leaving you alone, or they may think they did you some kind of harm by walking out of the picture, leaving the picture. But all they actually did is leave room for you to grow and for you to become better. That's all they did. Even though they could care less what happens to you, you control what happens to you. So it doesn't matter what someone cares. It doesn't matter if someone cares about you or not. All that matters is that you care about yourself. You have to care about you. If somebody could care less what happens to you, you have to create a life for yourself to where it's not going to matter if this person cares about you or not. All right. Some people will use a person, for a temporary gain. All right. Some people will try to use you for a temporary gain. Some people will try to see what they could get from you, how they could come up off you. And then once they see that that's not a thing anymore, or once they see that they're not going to get what they thought they were going to from dealing with you, working with you, doing business with you, talking to you, it's not gonna matter to them what happens to you. Some people are cutthroat like that. All right, some people are empathetic. Some people have a heart. Some people care. But then there are some people that if something was to happen to you, they wouldn't mind. And they'll treat you just like you did the worst to them. They'll treat you just like you did them extremely wrong, like you've done something horrible to them. There are people who do horrible things to people, and there are people who treat people in a really rough way, in a terrible way. Of course, it's going to be natural for a person to not care what happens to someone that basically didn't care about them or did them some type of harm. But for someone that has done a person nothing, for someone that's done nothing to someone, for that person to not care about the person that they're dealing with, that says a lot. It says a lot about that person. So what you have to do is you have to not be in the position to need anyone like that. If you're in the position to where somebody could care less what happens to you, say you're working at a job and it's your only job, and these people could care less about what happens to you. Like say they you know how certain jobs go. You'll work there for a little while. You'll give them your blood, sweat, and tears, and they'll let you go without a second's notice. They'll let you go without a second thought. Those people could care less what happens to you as long as you're out their hair and not in their face. You don't matter. So you have to matter to you. You have to prepare, you have to plan, you have to do things in your life to where, you know what? If all things fail, I know I won't fail. And that's real talk. If all else fails, I'm not going to fail. If this company closes, I'm not going to fail. If they don't want me to come back tomorrow, I'm not going to fail. Put yourself in the position to succeed and always be able to stand on your own 2 feet regardless of what comes your way in life, because there's going to be things that come your way that are unpleasant. There's going to be randomness in life to where you're going to be thrown off and things aren't going to make sense on why they're happening. People love to see people in those states. It's like they want you to think that you're good. They want you to think that you're okay, and then boom, they come out of nowhere and hit you with something unpleasant. And you have to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for the worst. You don't prepare for the worst, but you have to be prepared for the worst. All right, you don't want to be prepared for the worst, like just waiting every day, preparing yourself for something bad to happen. But you want to be prepared for, because anything can happen. So rather than day by day just waiting for something bad to happen, some people do that. Some people will wait day by day and just, I knew something bad was going to happen, and it happened because you knew it was going to happen. Some of it is intuition. Some of it you can tell by the way people act and the way people's energy is being aimed towards you. You can tell, like, okay, I may not be here long, or okay, it's a little weird here. This may not work out at this job. No, people aren't really, you know, treating me like the other coworkers. It may not last as long as I would like it to, but it doesn't matter how long it's going to last if you set yourself up right. And because it's a cutthroat, dog eat dog world, you want to every day, every single day, be doing something to that's going to keep you in the right position to where if anything happens, you'll be able to still make things happen. All right, you're going to be able to be straight regardless. You're going to be able to be okay regardless. You may not matter to them, but as long as you matter to you, that's all that counts. You have to matter to you. You have to treat yourself right, and you got to put yourself first. A lot of us go to certain jobs and companies, and we give our all. And this could be with anything in life. You could be giving your all. You could be, giving it your best shot. You could be giving it all you got. And then they just hit you with the, we don't need you anymore, or don't come back, or you're not welcome here. Those things catch you off guard. Those things shock you, put a shock to your system, make your jaw drop like, whoa, me? What did I do? But the one thing that will help you pick your jaw back up off the floor is by making sure that you're straight, making sure that you can take care of you, making sure that whatever happens, you'll have a backup plan, because nobody wants to be out here stuck, screwed, and totally effed. All right, and you definitely don't want to F yourself. You want to bless yourself and not mess yourself. All right, some situations will make you mess yourself because you realize you've effed yourself, and you don't. I don't mean to be graphic. I don't mean to be, little risque with my choice of words, of wordage. But I just want to stress to the T. All right, I just want to stress to the fact that if you aren't taking care of yourself, or if you aren't doing for yourself, nobody's going to be there to do it for you. You got to care about you like it's nobody's business. That job may have it out for you. They may decide to not keep you. But what's going to make a difference is, the choices you make regardless of that job. All right, regardless of having that job, you still need to be making choices to where if they decide to let you go tomorrow, I'm going to be okay. If they decide to tell you to leave and never come back, you're going to be okay. And they really could care less. They'll hire you today and replace you tomorrow. They'll hire you today and hire your replacement in the same day right after you. Well, if he doesn't work out, we got so and so. And they're cutthroat. They could care less. This is the American working world, and this is why it's good to do things to remove yourself from it. All right, people may think that it's unrealistic to do what I talk about in my videos. It's unrealistic. I got a job. I wake up. I go to work. What do I look like waking up early to put extra time into myself? What do I look like putting extra time into myself? I just got off of work. I just worked all day. That's enough of my time that I put to good use. I understand that, but you're putting that time into good use for you. I understand. But the thing is, you're putting that time into good use for somebody else. When you put time into something of your own, you can determine how much value you're willing to put into it. You're willing to give to it. You don't want to forever always be in a situation to where no matter how much work you put in, somebody else determines your value. You may be valuable, but they may not be willing to value you. I'm going to say that one more time. You may, to somebody else's business, you may be valuable, but they may not decide to value you. You may be the most valuable employee at the job, but if they don't necessarily like you, they're not going to treat you like that. They'll do that all the time. People who do less work, but they're cool with everybody there, manager, and they'll get more respect, or they'll get more accolades or liked more than the person that's actually there to do the job. And you're not there for accolades. You're there to get paid. You're not there to get liked. You're there to get right. You're there to get your pockets tight. All right, we'll get your pockets not be tight. You're not there for all the bells and whistles. You're there to do your job, work, and go home. I understand all that, but to have them look at you like it's never enough, or you're not doing enough, or what you're doing doesn't matter, that's be sometimes you might have to accept that. But if it turns out where it's like you feel you're being pushed out, and eventually it's like, yo, no matter how much work I do, I feel that they're just not going to have me here for long. Don't not do your best, but don't try to lift up the whole entire building. Don't do so much to where it's like you're trying to get a promotion. Just do a good job so they won't complain to you, and then just be out. And also find something else, be looking for something else on the side. And this is with anything in life. This isn't just with work. I'm just using work as an example. This could be applied to a lot of the times when I talk about work. It also can be used for other instances in life and applied to other parts of life. So if this doesn't apply to you as far as work, just hear what I'm saying and replace work with however this video applies to you. All right. So when people can care less what happens to you, and when you start to see people care less of what happens to you, don't treat them any different. If you still have to be in their presence, if you still have to be around them, make them guess. Don't treat them any different. You still got to work with these people. Don't go to work having the attitude. They're going to start to see that they're having an effect on you. Don't be upset around them. They're going to see that they're starting to get underneath your skin. They're going to start to do more if you just ignore them, keep doing what you have to do, and not letting them see you be affected by how they behave towards you. Then eventually all you're going to do is find someplace else, and you're going to leave, and it won't be that hard for you to stay there until you do. But if they can see that they're having an effect on you, they might start to up the ante and go a little harder and make things just a little bit more difficult. And that becomes kind of stressful when you're already doing a lot. Like I was working at McDonald's, and I was doing man, these people had me doing everything, and I wasn't even mad because it took up time. I had the energy to do it, even though they were using me. I didn't care. I was able to provide for myself. I was able to take care of myself. I was able to do what I needed to do. But once I saw that it wasn't going to be enough, once I saw that my politeness was being taken for a weakness, I ain't gonna hold y'all. I did snap on them, but I left with my freedom. All right, I left with my freedom. And like, no matter what I did, it was never good enough. And this was the breaking point. This was the point to where I decided, I'm like, I have to start educating myself to be able to do something for myself. I was already in the process of doing that, but that's when I started to like take it even more serious, because having people be able to talk to you any kind of way, when you're coming at them with respect, when you're not being disrespectful, when you're not talking to them in a crazy tone or in a crazy way, it can take a toll on you, because people start to see that, oh, this person is polite and respectful with our disrespect. So when people disrespect you and start acting crazy, the best thing you could do is just be quiet, not act like, because are arguing with like managers and stuff like that in certain situations, if you plan on staying there, it's worth your time. But if you me personally, I'm just gonna cut to the chase. I can see when I'm not wanted anymore, and having to work around people like that, of course, it's like, oh, well, why do you care if people like you? It's not about people liking you. It's about like, yo, this is like the like it's about having to start over. It's like you keep going from job to job, but you keep experiencing the same thing. And it's like, who wants to keep experiencing the same thing over and over again? And you might as well do something for yourself to where you don't have to experience these things, because people could care less. They'll care about their little clique. They'll care about their group. They'll care about the people that are total trash at that job. This person won't clean. This person won't work. This person won't take no trash out. This person won't do anything. They'll care about that person because they vibe with them. Oh, we know them, or we blah 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 blah. And I mean, me personally, I can't deal with it for long. I can look past a lot of stuff. I can look past a lot of stuff. But when people start just acting like you're not doing what you're supposed to do, and then give you an attitude on top of it, it's like they really are showing you that this isn't for you. And a lot of us will stay and try to fight tooth and nail when they're showing us that this isn't for us. But also, while fighting tooth and nail and not giving up, and not letting these people win, you should still be looking for something on the side, have something on the side, and be developing something for yourself to do for yourself, even if it's washing windows. Like, if you want to wash windows, all you have to do is get you a permit, buy the equipment, and solicit your services. Go to certain places, ask them if they would like their windows clean, give them your quota, price things out, set up a contract, or make them fill out a contract, or whatever, however it is that process takes place. Shake on it, whatever, I don't know, but have something that you can do. All right, that's what you're going to want to lean towards. If you have experiences like this at jobs, and if you're chosen, I know you do, when you go to certain places, you work, people just act like what you're doing is never good enough. And not only on top of that, they're trying to force you out of there. And not only on top of that, it's like eventually, sooner or later, that they're going to tell you to not come back. So it's not wishing for the worst, or having a negative outlook, or having a negative attitude and attracting it to yourself in most cases. But sometimes it's just your intuition letting you know that it is what it is in these types of situations. Some people are built to do certain things and some people aren't. Some people are built to be able to work around others and keep a job and have people like them. And some people are better having their own business, being able to do something for themselves, because when they get around people, people feel some type of way about them, and having to watch them do their thing. The worst thing you can do is having to work up close, up tight around people that will like you today and be jealous over you tomorrow. And that's how you know that you don't matter to people, but you have to matter to yourself. When people try to come at you in a crazy way, it's always better when your life is going smooth, when you're taking care of yourself and you have something in place for yourself. So when you have something in place for yourself, when people are trying to use you, or when people are trying to talk to you in a crazy tone, it makes it easier for you to. But when your life is not what you want it to be, and things are already hard for you, and things are already difficult for you, it's not as easy to deal with people and certain types of attitudes. And you shouldn't be dealing with people and their attitude in the first place. But sometimes when you're trying to grow and you're working towards getting a start for yourself or creating something for yourself, there's going to be things that you hate to do, but you have to do. And it's going to be a certain amount of time that you have to, just not forever, but it may be a couple weeks, maybe a month, maybe, a couple months you working at a place. You might hate it, but it's not going to kill you. You may not like it, but it's not going to kill you. It's something that's not going to be long term. You're just using that particular job to get to the next job, because you can see as clear as day that they're not going to want you here to stay. And it's like, why would you put all your eggs in one basket in a place that it's like, they don't want you there. You could feel that they don't want you there. You go to work, you clock in, you could feel the people having their little negative energy towards you, and eventually it becomes too toxic and too draining, and you get tired of it, and it will wear you down if you don't have your life in order. If you're dealing with life in a way to where it's like you're already stressed because things aren't how you want them to be, then dealing with stressful situations and stressful people is going to be harder. So it's always good to make decisions along the way in life, period, day to day, that are going to put yourself at ease. You want to make decisions financially. You want to make decisions mentally, like choices, and just overall, just do things that are going to make things better for you, regardless of how your outside world is looking. If your finances are in order, if the manager talks to you crazy enough times, you'll probably just laugh it off. But sooner or later, you'll be like, man, I don't need this. I'll cut my hours back, or I'll go find another job, or I'll do what I need to do. And that's the best way to have these jobs, is to be able to either have another one, so that way you could leave the one where they're being weird and just keep your secondary gig, or you already have enough money put to the side to where you could even take you a little 2-week vacation while you're looking for another job. You set yourself up. You determine how your life goes, even if even though the world is cutthroat, even though there are people that are, will leave you for dead. As long as you don't leave you for dead, it doesn't matter who can leave you, who can discard you, who can tell you not to come back, who can fire you. It doesn't matter who doesn't like you. When you have your ducks in a row and you have things working out for you and your life is going how it's supposed to go, regardless of a job, regardless of an attitude, regardless of a hater employee, regardless of a jealous boss, things can still work out for you and you can still have a good life. Even though you may not have a job right now, if you have your money right saved up from working, you're going to be good. And when you're the type of person that has to go from job to job to job, make sure that you're going to have to save a lot of your money. You're not going to be able to enjoy your money like everybody else can, because they have job security. You're going to have to save, and you're going to have to put your money to the side, and you're going to have to plan. You're still going to be able to enjoy your life, but you're going to have to plan around haters. You're going to have to make sure that you're always on your square, always on your toes, and always able to take care of yourself regardless of any situation. Because there are going to be those people that soon as they see you get your start, soon as they see you start to grow, soon as they see you start to improve, soon as they see you start to do good, they're going to feel some type of way about that, and they're not going to want to see it happen. And you're still going to have to work, you're still going to have to live, you're still going to have to take care of yourself. And that's the thing, when people want you out their face, when these jobs want you to just leave, and you end up leaving, or you end up having to go somewhere, regardless of them, you still have to take care of yourself. If they fire you, your landlord's not going to care, the grocery store is not going to care, your stomach is not going to care, your light bill's not going to care, your car payment is not going to care, the dealership's not going to care. You have to make sure that you're putting yourself in the proper position, no matter what happens, to be able to take care of yourself, because you love yourself. You matter that much to you, and you have to continue to put yourself first, to where you are the most important person. So that way, regardless of these places, which are not more important than you can still function. They want you to think that they want you to think that these jobs are more important than you, when they're not. These jobs aren't more important than you. These jobs are just a part of your life. It's just something that you have to do to take care of yourself. These jobs are not more important than you. You work there, you do what you have to do, you go home. You don't make that job more important to you. That job's not more important than your life. It's a part of your life. They want you to think that that's your life. They want you to think that you have to worship that. They want you to think that that job's your God, and it's not. You don't worship that job. That job's not your God. You're just there temporarily to work, to get paid, and then that's it. And if the coworkers there don't understand that, if they want you to kiss the ground they walk on, and try to be buddy buddy with them, and allow them to play you just so you can keep working, that's not going to happen. You're eventually going to find something else. You're eventually going to go work someplace else. And you can do that. I used to think when I would work at some place, I was stuck there. You don't have to deal with anything that you don't want to have to deal with. You don't have to take anything that you don't want to take from people. All right? And you know that they could care less. You know that as long as you're out their hair and not in their face, you don't matter. But you don't have to be in their hair, and you don't have to be in their face. But unfortunately, just being around them is enough for you to be in their hair. Like, once you try to do normal things and people give you an attitude, you know it's almost time to go. Once you're like, hey, can you pass me this? Or hey, can you help me with this? Or hey, can we? And the people just have nothing but an attitude. And it's like you go from, okay, well, this person got an attitude. Let me ask the manager. Manager got an attitude. Let me ask the cool guy. Cool guy got an attitude. Let me ask the co-worker. Let me ask this one. And it's like everybody is just like having an attitude towards you. And then you see them and they don't act that way towards themselves, you know that there's an issue there. It's nothing that you have to make a big deal out of, but eventually, if it becomes a big deal and it turns into a hostile work environment, you got to ask yourself, do I really want to stay here? You want to put yourself in a position to not have to stay at a job that doesn't suit you. You need a job. You need to make money. You need to get paid. You need to take care of yourself. But if it doesn't suit you, if it's not helping you the way it's helping everybody else, what are you really doing? If you're not getting the same from it that everybody else is getting, what's it really doing for you? If they're not going to work with you the way you're working with them, just so you can take care of yourself, there's going to be something out there for you, and you're going to have to create something for yourself. And it's possible. All right. Just because you don't matter to them doesn't mean you don't matter to you. You always matter to you. Always make sure you're important to you, and not just something that you think about, not just something that you say, but taking the proper steps to put things in place, caring about yourself enough to make things happen, using your time instead of just, okay, I know I got 24 hours in a day. I'm going to do this. 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 And you can do that if you can do that consecutively, day after day after day, and not break your routine and not have anything change, and want to do for yourself, then a lot of positive things can happen for you in your life, regardless of what other people have going on, regardless of what other people to involve you with, regardless of what other people want you to be a part of. They may not want you around, but guess what? I know someone who does want you around. You want you around. So if you want you around, act like it, put some things in place, take care of what you need to take care of the best way you can, and continue to work your way up. And it's difficult when people see you trying to work your way up to become something, and it's like they want to keep chopping you down. They see where you're at, they want you to stay stuck, they know that you need that job, they know you need that check, and they play with you. So you have to do things to where even though people play with you, because that's what they like to do, you're still going to be okay. All right. So I'd like to thank you for watching this video. Smash the like button, smash the share button, and don't forget to subscribe. It's been another DrewTube special. Shout out to the chosen vessels. I'll see you in the next video. All right. I'll see you in the next video. We are